of a delayed reaction there.
Well, it's because the timer hadn't started yet, Megan. So now we're discussing a play we went to go see on our culture trip that we took this weekend.
Milwaukee.
When
pretty exciting.
We saw the world premiere of 10 Questions to Ask Your Biology Teacher About Evolution by Stephen Massicotte. Mascot? We don't know how to say his last name. Don't hate us.
It also could be Stephen. Sometimes people pronounce it that way.
Yeah, Stephen.
Anyway.
World premiere of this play.
And it was really good.
All of the interesting.
So basically, it's about this student who he believes in creationism.
He's a devout Christian.
Yes. And then so, and in his biology class, they're talking about evolution.
And he's disrupting his teacher with 10 questions.
And so they can have talks about it after school.
Because he gets informal detention, which is basically just the teacher has said it.
Yeah.
Like, you're staying after school.
Yeah. And then so it kind of comes down to, you know, how do you teach, like, teaching something that's in the curriculum versus making students feel comfortable
with their religion.
Yeah. Because, like, you know, as a teacher, you don't want to make anyone go against their religion.
No, but you also need to teach the curriculum for, because she said it a lot. What's he going to do when it comes to states? Because he's not learning.
Which, I mean, I thought this was really interesting because I'm an education major, and I took human relations last semester, and that was one of our big topics was, you know, how do you push a student, you know, kind of a little outside of his comfort zone so they learn, but still make them not
in that cushion
disregard their religious beliefs.
Because religion's really a matter for at home. I was thinking about education when I started college. Later decided that theater was more my thing. But I enjoyed the play. But, like, you could ask Megan, like, I got to, like, intermission, and I was sitting there just, like, so upset. Because
they take it to the extreme.
Extreme Christian view of things. Like,
versus, like, an atheist biology teacher.
And I'm sitting there, like, yeah, I'm a Christian, but I'm very relaxed. I'm at least willing to learn things.
Yeah.
Especially since I know that there are Christian biologists that are like, yeah, some ideals of evolution are actually a thing. We approve of this.
I mean, and one point that I really like that the teacher brought up was that evolution doesn't say how life started.
No, she just says what happened.
Something started life, and then this is what happened afterwards.
Snowball effect.
So, I mean, really, we don't want to get, you know, too into the debate with our video because we don't want a bunch of angry comments.
We love you, people.
Yeah.
We're
pretty chill, you know. We're just like, meh. You do what you want.
Like, I got so, like, I was ready to fight for that teacher.
Yeah. Like, one thing I really like, too, is the teacher never said anything that, like, in a real-world situation would get her fired on the spot. The principal did. Principal would have been fired had the kid decided to report it. But also... But she did a good job of, like, keeping that respectful boundary.
Yeah. Also, when the mom stepped in, like, I literally almost leaned over to Megan and go, and this is why I dropped education.
It's what... One of my professors, I can't remember who it was, but one of them said that's like probably the reason why 50% of people drop education majors is because they don't want to deal with parents.
Because you can talk with the student. You can find common ground with the student. The parent will come in.
Well, and the parents don't usually know the full story.
Yeah, no.
They only know what their student has told them, which in some cases is just, my teacher hates me.
Yeah. I've done that.
Yeah, I've done that too.
My dad, after he got out of the Air Force, was a teacher, so I couldn't really get away with going, this teacher's terrible, because my dad would be like, they're doing the best. Except for one teacher, but we won't get into that. And so, like, having my dad being a teacher, I hear all the horror stories of the parents he had to deal with. And when I told him I wanted to go into education, he's like, okay, but just remember, this will be a thing.
Yeah.
And like
looking forward to it.
The parents I dealt with when I was, because my high school did a TA program. The parents I dealt with when I was TA they were nice. But then again, I was with their kids for like an hour every other day. I wasn't their full-time teacher. And like seeing how this parent was treating the biology teacher just went, and this is why I'm no longer in education. Because I can deal with criticism about my acting, just no. There's a line, and that parent crossed it.
I mean, that happens a lot.
Yeah.
But our cross to bear.
Yeah. I will support you. I will come in and guest speak, but I will not be a teacher.
See, I'm lining up all these guest speakers to come in.
This is when I
come party it up in my butt.
This is when in a few years I'm in a classroom going, why?
This is when I send permission slips home with all the students. Please don't be offended by anything Irene might tell you.
I'm not that bad.
Depending on the day.
Depending on the day, yeah. If I'm having a really crap day.
If you're in a really bad mood, I'll be like, so, please don't be offended by anything she says. She doesn't mean it. She's honestly a nice person.
Yeah. It also depends on who I've had to deal with.
Yeah.
But I tend to be real chill. But this play just hit so many notes.
Yeah.
So many, like, notes that were like, yes, good, no, ah!
And like the last 20 minutes of the play was just so emotional.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god,
I teared up a little.
I teared up a little too. I was like, I can't handle this.
I love sitting next to you and things because you have the decency to ignore when I'm tearing up.
Yep.
Other people don't, and I'm like, no, do you not understand that you don't see a thing?
Well, because like when I'm watching things, I tend to get in the zone.
Yeah.
Because we also went and saw a symphony while we were in Milwaukee, and I thought my mind was going to wander because I kind of have a short attention span, which you've probably noticed. I'm not exactly good at hiding it.
Did you not wander?
I did not.
My mind wandered, but my mind wandered to choreographing a ballet to go with the music. Because dance. Which I'm not a choreographer. I'm not currently in dance classes. My mind shouldn't have wandered there, but it's been instilled in me since I was 3.
But you're still getting into the music, so.
Yeah. And then when my eyes slowly drifted closed, because I was becoming one with the music, I was watching the ballet I was choreographing in my head.
Sure you were.
I was becoming one with the music, Megan.
Sure you were.
I was. I still heard all the notes crystal clearly. My eyes just were not open.
I loved the pianist they had.
Oh, yes. Anyway, that's not the play.
Nope.
We're good at this.
This goes back to my short attention span, people.
We're good at this. But in all, it was a really good play.
I honestly was not expecting to like it too much, because all we were told was really the title.
Yeah, and it wasn't what I was expecting. I was expecting, them to answer my questions about evolution. They didn't get answered.
Honestly, I'm not entirely sure what I was expecting. I thought it was honestly, I kind of thought it was going to be like an improv show almost.
Ooh, that would have been fun.
That's almost what I was expecting.
I was expecting
I'm not entirely sure what I was thinking.
I was
not expecting that, though.
I was expecting a play, but I was expecting, a play from, a bio teacher teaching evolution to students, not this religious debate.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what I was expecting. Not what we saw. But I really liked it.
I loved the play. I
really wish we could do it in Pella, but...
Yeah, it's not a thing. No.
No.
And the reason I said my questions about biology is because I went to Christian high school. We did not discuss evolution, and if we did, it was this light topic. That it was this is a theory, moving on.
We talked, what my high school did, because I went to a public high school. What we did was we broke off into little groups of, I think we split off into 4 groups. And, one group covered creationism, one group covered evolution, one group covered, I don't remember what the name of the theory is, but something that basically combined the two.
I know they mentioned
Intelligent
it in the play.
design.
Intelligent design.
That might have been it. And then another group did something I can't even begin to remember what it was. But, and like, you had no say what group you got to do. You just got assigned, and all you had to do was, and what we did was we presented both the pros and the cons of that group. So that, if you got put in the creationism group and you were hardcore evolutionists, you could say, well, these are the cons with this.
But you then had to find the pros.
Yep, and then, vice versa for the evolution. Was if you're a hardcore creationist, you could say, well, this is why this is wrong, but I guess if I had to argue for it, this is what I would say.
Yeah.
So I personally thought my biology teacher did a really nice job with it.
That sounds like a good idea.
And it was like one day in class one day we went down to the library, did all of our research, and then the next day we presented.
One thing the play did show, and it showed it very well, is how much a student can get away with in the classroom that a teacher cannot.
Yeah, because, like, the student gave the teacher a Bible.
Yeah, he pulled a Bible out of his backpack and went, read this.
Yeah. Where, students can do whatever they want. Students I guess to some extent they can.
They can't physically attack the teacher, and they really frown on cursing.
Yeah. But in terms of religious practices, a student can pull out his Bible during lunch and have Bible study essentially with his friends in the lunchroom if they want to, and they can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
And I think technically even if you have an Islamic student and it's time to pray because they pray 5 times to Mecca, they can get up in the middle of the classroom
and pray. Yeah, I remember that being a thing.
And the teacher can't stop them.
Yeah, it's they can ignore him for how long this is going to take.
It's really weird though, because on the flip side, my teacher in 6th grade was Islamic. Teachers can't do that. Yeah. They can't pause class to pray.
No, that doesn't surprise me at all.
Students can, teachers can't.
Mm-hmm. And that shows the difference.
I thought this play did a really nice job.
Yeah.
I had a great chat with our professor after class today about it, because she's like, you're an education major, tell me all of your opinions.
Yeah. I know some of our friends that are on the trip were like, you don't want to know our opinions. I had a nice view of them, because it was done in thrust, and so you can see the stage, but you can also see the people on the other side at the same time, and that's always fun. I enjoy that.
Yeah.
And they were cracking up during some parts. Other parts you could be like, oh, they're getting angry. But I'm getting angry too, so it's okay. But there was a part that I think the entirety of our group was laughing.
I think so. There were a couple parts, I think.
Yeah. Mainly between the discussions between the teacher and the mom, I think.
Yeah.
Those parts were entertaining.
I like some of the jokes the principal came up with.
Yeah. There was a joke he told his student, and then he left, and the student just went.
And the principal told some classic cheesy jokes.
Terrible joke.
Classic principal move, though, honestly.
I don't even remember what Oh, I get it. I remember what the joke was now. It was,
the one in hell?
Yep. It was the one in hell. It's and it's the different levels of excrement. And it was hip, chest, chin. And then it goes into this one. There's just up to the waist, and they're drinking coffee. And the guy's I choose this room. This room seems awesome. That was you've chosen. And he leaves. And the guy starts, wandering into the room, starts getting his cup of coffee, and the demon comes in and goes, break time's over, back on your heads. They were standing head down and waist high excrement.
Yeah.
And he was laughing and he left. And the student just went, and then said the religion that the principal was. It was just
The principal told some excellent jokes.
Which
really, a principal shouldn't be saying jokes, especially that kind.
Yeah, no.
To students.
No.
Bad plan.
Very bad plan.
Bad life choice.
Although I think we established this principal, he was just the substitute principal because the other principal had died earlier in the semester, year thing.
I'm not entirely sure. I know it was sometime within the school year.
Yeah, he had died sometime in the school year, but they hadn't found a replacement yet, so this guy's just being the substitute principal.
Interim.
That's what it's called. Interim principal, and it's just like...
She's like, okay.
No, someone did not think this through. But I like his punishment. Like, he was like, you know, we'll just take this kid out of the evolution segment. It'll be fine.
Technically, that is the proper thing to do. You're supposed to provide an alternative assignment if the student really and truly has an issue with the assignment.
So he did the good thing. He took him out, and he had him read him Twilight. Twilight.
I mean, technically, you know, the assignment is supposed to be related to the topic they're supposed to be covering, but...
How is Twilight related to evolution?
But, like, one example is, like, in literature, if you assign your class to read The Giver, and your class has... it's The Hunger Games, and because some teachers are teaching Hunger Games in their schools.
That makes sense.
And if the parents are like, no, my kid's not reading the Hunger Games, you're supposed to provide alternative books that teach essentially the same lesson. So like The Giver or... Not Divergent.
Not Divergent.
I think most go with The Giver. I can't remember what the other examples are. But
it did show a nice...
But an appropriate substitution for evolution is not Twilight.
No, but that's what he did.
Yeah.
And the student was like, he's making me read Twilight. I'm just like, I was especially laughing because there's a YouTube cosplay group I watch that has one of my favorite lines in it. It was called Demix Time. My favorite line was, Twilight isn't literature. And so when he's like, I'll just make him read Twilight, I was laughing really hard, as silently as I could, because no one else was going to get it. And I was just dying in my seat.
But, yeah, that's 10 questions to ask your biology teacher about evolution, which is a really long title. They might want to consider...
Well, it's 10 questions with a subtitle of To Ask Your Biology Teacher About Evolution.
I mean, 10 questions is a good title.
Yeah.
But 10 questions to ask your biology teacher about evolution, too long.
It's subtitle. It's kind of like The Game's Afoot or Homes for the Holidays, which was a play we did earlier this year in my theater department.
Yeah.
Anyway, is that everything we can say?
I believe so. All